Hello, everyone, and welcome to Real Estate Right Now, where we talk about real estate matters that matter to you. Oops, we're not going live yet. Let me try that again. It says that right there. Let's try that again. Oop, why aren't we doing that? Error occurred on Twitter. This is usually temporary. Wait a moment.
Try this again.
Error on Twitter. Do this. All right, here we go. Take it from top. Hey, everybody. We're taking this from top. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Real Estate Right Now, where we talk about real estate matters that matter to you. My name is Jay Izzo, and I am going to tell you that today's show is really something that was brought to me by one of the members of the Linda Craft team, and that was to talk about manufactured and, or we're going to talk about, I wanted to say modular, but you're going to correct me. And so we brought in Perry Frutiger, who is project manager for Clayton Homes.
Yes, sir.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
So there's this whole thing. I think there's a stigma whenever we hear, modular or manufactured homes. I don't think we fully understand, because I think we think of an old 13-foot wide trailer, single wide trailer with wheels still on it. We're jacking it up with cement blocks and putting hay bales underneath to protect everything. But that's not what we're talking about today's manufactured modular homes. So first of all, help us understand what it is that you do. I think that's where we need to start.
So a brief understanding for people who don't understand it, for the viewers out there, for you people who have this stigma that we're talking about on
Right.
manufactured housing. So manufactured housing, put it into the category of anything else that would be manufactured, right? Manufactured means it comes from a factory.
Okay.
So within manufactured housing, you've got modular homes,
Okay.
and you've got mobile homes.
Okay.
Both of those, a lot of people do that. A lot of people are like, oh, well, what's the difference between modular and manufactured? That's not necessarily the question to ask. The real question to ask would be, what's the difference between modular and mobile homes when it comes to manufactured housing? And the reason being is both of those homes are manufactured within Clayton Home factories.
Okay.
So for my specific retailer, for Clayton Homes of Youngsville, my general manager, Chris Wilkins, he will pull houses, and our sales team will pull houses from different manufacturers. Now they're all Clayton Homes, but different factories in different locations. And from these factories, some are more so known for doing mobile homes.
Right.
Some of them are more reputable for doing modular homes.
Okay.
The difference in a modular and a modular and a mobile home. So I almost did it right there.
Yeah.
A modular home is a home that's on a permanent foundation that cannot be moved.
Okay.
In theory, it is a stick-built home that is built and processed within a factory, brought to a lot, set, and it is a permanent home. Now, a mobile home is wheels and axles under a house, put up with a vinyl skirting foundation. Nowadays, they have evolved. They can do brick skirting foundations and things under them, but that house is not a permanent homestead. It can be moved if need be.
Okay. But do we say manufactured or modular?
Manufactured housing.
Okay. So does the manufactured housing then, because I did look through your portfolio of Clayton Homes. By the way, there's some beautiful homes in there.
Gorgeous.
And it's not what we think. So when they do this, is it like a kit? I mean, do they bring out the pieces out to, so you have a piece of land, you want to build a house.
Yep.
I mean, do they bring out all the pieces and parts, or is it already pre-built and then comes out?
So as a project manager, when I get this house, salespeople are going to run the client through the sales process.
Right.
They're going to pick out a house, semi-customizable. You can pick out different attributes and different features from different homes that you like. And if they are able, or if the factory has the ability to put these features into these houses, they can do it. So it's semi-customizable. It's not custom building by any means, but there are features and things that you can pick out. And once that's done, the sales process is done, the house has been PO'd, the factory will build it. And in modular houses and double wides in mobile homes, the house comes in 2 pieces. So it comes in a front and a back, or a left and a right, however you want to phrase it. And they will bring that to our lot, in which when that gets to our lot, we get a building permit. They turn it over to me. I handle everything from that point, taking it out to the site. So yes, the house does come in parts, but I receive the house right around 85% of the way done.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So, but you did say though, and I think this is what people need to understand: the difference between stick built and what you do. How much difference is there really?
The difference between stick built and modular is not as grand as the difference between stick built and mobile.
Okay.
Modular homes, as I said, are on permanent foundations. They're
Right.
permanent homesteads, and things diving into a lot more construction side of that: stud spreads, truss layouts, engineered truss packets, things like that. The way that these houses are put together, stick built and modulars are very, very similar.
Right.
Now, mobile home, it's a different category, different building
Right.
codes, things like that. That would, for people out there that understand construction,
Right.
you'd be able to decipher some of the differences there. But from stick built to modular, I mean, the way I would look at that is, if you're going to build a site-built, stick-built house, you're going to build ideologically the same thing that we build, but you're going to build it out in the elements. Versus, you could come to us, pick out a house that could be built in a shelter, not weathered, not exposed to the elements, closed up, dried in, and then we bring it out to your lot.
So then, I mean, it almost sounds like there might be a little advantage here, and I'm because a lot of times when people are building a house, you and I both know we've been through some rain the last few days here.
Yes.
I mean,
we
some
have.
big rain,
Absolutely.
right? And a lot of times people are building stick built houses, and all that wood and everything is out exposed to the elements. And I'm not in construction, but I know it can't be good.
Right. Yeah. That's absolutely right.
Right. It can't be real good. And at the same time, when I think about the modular end of it, right, it's already built. We're just moving it in, then you're doing some of the other little pieces to make sure that it all fits together, because it's 85% done.
Exactly.
All right. So what do you think the advantages are of modular? Because you're in this industry.
Yes.
What do you think are some of the big advantages?
I would say that you kind of hit the nail on the head there. That is one of the biggest advantages, is not having a house exposed to the elements for as long as they could be, in doing site built. Now, I didn't just jump into construction and go straight to manufactured housing. I actually did work for another a national production builder that did site built houses. We built neighborhoods.
Right.
And so that was a major key point, and something I realized in construction. Now, granted, these are pressure treated lumber packages. They're all wood that should not be waterlogged or grow mold or anything within the time span. But I mean, anything's possible, and I've seen it happen. So I'd say that it's a huge advantage, because people think, and I think back to the stigma that you talk about, the advantage nowadays is your materials are not going to be exposed to the weather and to those elements and to the stress and things that severe temperature changes. We get all 4 seasons here in North Carolina. So getting the extreme hots, the extreme colds, the extreme humids, the extreme dry air, things like that, they do a lot more damage to building materials than people really realize. So a huge advantage, I think I would say that is the biggest one, is that you're building a house that is going to be constructed the same way, but it's being built under the shelter and under the care of people that are working inside.
Right. So, and here's the thing, right, is that I think that people need to understand too. It's not like you could put a modular home. Well, or can you? Maybe I'm wrong here. Can we? I mean, because you're not putting it in an already pre-built neighborhood, right?
Correct.
You're going to have to find the land. Or how does that work?
So to an extent, you couldn't take one and go put it into a neighborhood that one of your infamous production builders has done, right? However, if you've got, for example, down on the coast or anywhere really in rural areas, things like that, where these people have lots and their communities, And you can go in and purchase these lots, and you can put these houses on them. You couldn't go in and take a house down and put one in, obviously, unless you own the property. But at that point, if you went through all that, there wouldn't be much sense in buying that house in the first place. So the big thing is you've got to have a piece of land. Now, we do land home packages. That's another advantage, is the time aspect of it. Our houses, I mean, we can get houses out of factories in as fast as 2 weeks.
Really?
Sure can.
Really?
As fast as 2 weeks, we can have a house PO'd, have it built and delivered to our retail site, ready to go to a lot in as fast as 2 weeks.
Wow, that's crazy.
And if you compare that to stick built,
right,
when you're looking at manufactured stick builts, I mean, through COVID, I saw stick built houses going as long as 3 years.
Right. Yeah.
To get a house done.
Right.
And so you think, I'm getting this house out of the factory in 2 weeks, and the house is already 85% of the way done. Calculate the advantage of time.
Right.
Time is money in everybody's world.
Right.
So really, I mean, look at the advantage that brings to a homeowner. Somebody that's may have sold a house ahead of time.
Right.
And they're under a crunch time. They're staying with somebody else. They need to get into a house faster.
Right.
Multiple different areas within the real estate world where that's advantageous as well.
Okay, so there's so many thoughts going through my head that are not part of the questions that we have on our list. But there's like, first of all, I think the first question that maybe people are asking is, well, how big when it comes to modular, how big can they go? I mean, because it seemed to me that when I was looking at pictures, and I can only look at the pictures, it seemed like some of these modular homes can get pretty good size. Am I correct on that?
Absolutely. And I know I joined the manufactured housing industry August of last year. So I am, in the grand scheme of things, I'm relatively new to the industry, but I've done my homework and looked into it a lot. And I know that something that it kind of threw me for a loop also. Before COVID, manufactured housing had the ability to do 2-story homes.
Really?
Sure did. Had the ability to build 2-story houses. And
well, I did see, come to think, I did see some 2-story homes in the portfolio.
And some of the retailers throughout the nation, I believe, are still doing it. More so in the ECR, East Coast region. I think we limited that quite a bit.
Right.
I'm not sure what the intentions are as far as the business plan moving forward to bring that back or not. But yeah, I mean, we have ranch plans that have gotten to exceed 2,200 square feet.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I saw some ranch plans in there that were really, really, really nice.
Yep.
And they were really cool. And I was like going, well, this doesn't even fit my. And I think this is the problem, right? It doesn't fit your schema when you hear in your head modular, right? And then you look at it and you look at the inside, because the inside detail, I mean, it was like, I think some of these homes had granite.
Yep.
Like granite countertops, the hardwood floors. They had, am I wrong? Did I miss?
Absolutely right. A lot, actually. Majority of, in the conversation that I've had with a lot of people, and when it comes to manufactured housing, why do you not favor manufactured housing? And it all comes back to, people are saying, well, that's a trailer. And that's a huge, I think, pinpoint. And I don't know if that's a pride thing or an ego thing or what it may come down to, but people don't have the ability, I guess, to say, I take pride in this trailer. Well, if you look at the trailers from the 90s and the 80s and stuff, I'm sure in this day and age, that's probably the case.
Right.
But I encourage everybody, if they're looking for something to get into affordable housing and to be really blown away by a product, take the time to get onto a retail lot and go and just walk the houses, because you'd be insane. We do all luxury vinyl plank. It's all LVP. It's engineered hardwood flooring. And it's truly incredible what they've done with it.
It's amazing. I was literally blown away. And you hit on something here that I think is really, really important, because right now, you're a young guy. Housing is difficult, first-time home buyer to get into.
Right.
But this seems like this is an opportunity.
Huge. Certainly huge.
Right. I mean, this seems like this is a really great opportunity, possibly, for someone to get in, and with maybe not as much money. Do I got that right?
Yeah. And that's exactly right, because the biggest thing, excuse me, is it is affordable housing, right?
Mhm.
That is our industry. And I've got a bug in my throat. Affordable housing is advantageous to not only the first-time home buyer, but to investors as well.
Mm,
You know, you're a first-time home buyer, you're getting in for such a great deal, and in a year, you're positive equity in a house. I mean,
right,
virtually immediately. You're and that is something I think has been lost as well.
right.
Um,
Is that you and I think it's because it is in essence, it is in essence, as you said, it really is I mean, it is basically a stick-built house,
mhm,
right? I mean, it's just that it's been pre-made somewhere else, and we're moving
correct.
most of it's been pre-made somewhere
Right.
else.
You haven't watched it been
So, I
built.
mean, you can get a loan on these houses.
Yes, absolutely. Yep.
S so could you go to a normal mortgage lender and get a loan or
You can do outside lending. Clayton Homes does internal lending, but yeah, you could certainly go to outside lending. Yeah.
okay, so really, it's possible to get a lender to get a loan
100%.
to get a loan on this, an outside
100%.
loan, and then, of course, you have your own lenders that I know that you work with
Right.
that do this as well.
Yep.
And, I was talking to a couple of lenders that, we've used here, Paul Fitz and, Chris Coy. A matter of fact, I talked to Chris Coy today, and they talk about, it's a great entry level way. If you can find a little piece of land that you could put it on and go from there, and it perks, of course, it
Yep.
has to have some water and everything like that. It's a great option for the first time home buyer to get in the door. And I don't think we're thinking about it. Now, I guess the question is, and I know you haven't been in this industry a long time, but I'm going to ask it just in case you know. Um, are you aware, like in other parts of the country, is this product more popular than as typically in North Carolina? Or,
I'm not as far as popularity goes.
Mm,
I'm not 100% sure geographically where it's more popular than others. I know that rural areas is where you're really going to see the industry take its full potential.
okay,
Super condensed areas, it's hard to get in there, right? You've got
right,
all these national production builders that are trying to be centric to everything.
right.
Um, but I know that nationally, this industry is growing exponentially
Mm.
by the day.
Well, it has to, I would think, because the entry level point.
Yep. Yep.
Right,
And the quality of product and people I think are slowly but surely coming to realize that it's not what it used to be.
right, right, right,
It's
right.
closer than ever to stick built, which is what people like to compare it to.
Right.
Um, but it's entry level and it's a great way to get your equity and start your steps as a home buyer. So
Okay, so I got it. Somebody, Erica is jumping in. Thanks, Erica, for watching. She says, "My understanding is that appraisers can use site built and modular interchangeably. So when she's a real estate, I think you know Erica. I think you would know her
I
pretty well.
do. Yeah, I do. Very familiar.
Very familiar
Yep.
with her. So she's saying that when they're doing appraisals, they appraise just from one house to another, even in the modular compared to site built homes. So there's that ends that stigma because they're looking at stick built versus a modular,
Right.
right? It's a comparable.
Absolutely. Yep.
So
Absolutely.
so people don't have to worry about that. What do you think that when you see people, uh, what do you think their biggest struggle is? Do you think it's the perception, or do you think what are some of the struggles that they have when they start looking at modular or they start talking to you about modular?
I think it's lack of information.
Mm,
Perception, I guess, kind of ties into that.
right. Yeah.
The the stigma for so long on these houses has been that, like I said, that they're trailers,
Right.
and the evolution from just what I've learned in the industry
Right.
is crazy. It's crazy to look back when people tell me, "Oh, you don't know what manufactured housing
Right.
used to be,"
Right.
and that's true. I don't. I'm
Right.
24, so I'm working my way up. But I'm looking back and I'm learning. I'm figuring these things out,
Right.
and I would say it's probably just lack of information.
Okay.
I think if people took the time out of their day, and for the people viewing, if you took the time to just step onto one of these lots and go look at some of these houses that people call manufactured houses, if I were to build one of these houses, put it on a piece of land and tell you to go look at it and give me your download on what you think this house is,
Right.
I could bet you that 1 out of 10 people would be able to tell me that it was a manufactured house. To bring
Right.
that back to the comparable to a stick-built house.
Right.
If 1 out of those 10 could do it.
So you said something a little bit ago about investors.
Mhm.
Okay, so now you've got me intrigued here. Investors and modular? I mean, you're saying that, okay, all right,
Absolutely.
help me understand that.
Investors in modular, investors in manufactured in general. I have seen an astronomical influx of investors coming to us for modular houses, even for double wides, because kind of back to what you pointed out earlier, you walked into some of these houses and you see faux marble, you see granite, you see hardwood floors, you see drywall. There are drywall double wides now. They're not just wallboard planked.
And no, listen, I remember back in the day when it was this wooden paneling, that was,
you could flick,
yeah.
Yeah. And now, I mean, the investment side of this industry is a huge chunk of it. Obviously, the affordable side of it for people who are just getting into that buying house world, and trying to get their foot in there. Investors are doing the same thing. It's
Really?
just on a different scale. An investor can't just get into investing in, $1 million houses, right?
Right.
They're going to get their foot in the investment world in that door the same way that your first time home buyer is going to get in.
So do they build? I mean, do these investors build like these modular communities then?
I wouldn't say communities, but they will build, they'll come in, they'll purchase lots within a community, and then they'll work out a deal with our retail side of everything and get X amount of houses that they want to put on these lots. And then they go and do what investors do with them. They rent them out and they cycle, but they can keep them all compact
into place. It's amazing to me because it's not the world that I thought, when it comes to modular manufactured homes. It's not the world I thought it was. And yet it seems like it's a great alternative for folks to, it seems like it's a great alternative for people to take advantage of, because, here's the thing that probably you're seeing, because you're in Youngsville.
Correct.
Right. And from where we're at here in North Raleigh, what is that, about 20 miles, 15 miles?
Give or take, yeah.
15, 20 miles, right? But there is no more land here. Everything is moving out.
Mm-hmm.
So just when you think that, well, I'm buying this little piece of land out between Raleigh and Youngsville, and I would put a modular house on it, and you're thinking, well, you're so far out. You're no longer that far out anymore, are you?
No, I mean, and if people, I guess that's our job as the people in the real estate industry and in the home building industry is to make them realize, what in this day and age, if you can't build out anymore, where's the only other way to build is up.
Right.
And you can only build up so much before you get into something. And when you're talking about first-time home buyers or affordable housing, up is not the way to go. Right.
Right.
You're really not, and that's exactly the point. Is you're not that far out, and that kind of ties me back to the equity thing that we spoke about a little bit ago.
Right.
These people that are out getting these pieces of property and this land and putting these houses on it now, at some point in time, what's going to surround you? Who's going to make their way out there? That's all the big national production builders. And what happens when they build those houses?
Your value goes up. Yeah.
So that's a lot of what these investors are doing. That's a lot. I mean, and I think with the first time home buyers, they spend that time on the lot speaking with our sales agents and talking to our teams. They get that understanding and they realize exactly what you said. I'm not that far out anymore, because give it 3 to 5 years, maybe give it 5 to 10 years. And guess what's going to be surrounding me? Yeah, exactly.
So Erica asked another question. Are there ever modular homes on city water and sewer?
Great question. We do anything. Anything. If you've got land and you've got a piece of land that will perk, the answer to that question is we will put it on city water and sewer. Majority, given what I said, the rural areas are majority well in septic.
Right.
But I mean, I have built numerous houses on city sewer and water. Only thing is, it's just a different construction process. It doesn't change the sale end of it or the ability for a first home buyer at all. The first time home buyer would like to know if they're on city sewer and water
Right.
or well and septic, but as far as ability to purchase, it doesn't change anything for them.
You know, we've done our half hour.
Have we?
Yeah. Is that crazy?
That is crazy.
Yeah. I told you it was gonna go fast. You've been outstanding. I've enjoyed having you here, Perry.
Well, thank
Would
you
you
for having
tell would you tell people how to get a hold of you?
Yeah, you can reach out to me. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on just about all social media, or you can go on to Clayton Homes of Youngsville.com and look through our staff directory there. You can reach out to me as well if you're interested in asking any questions about this industry, and I can certainly connect you with somebody that can give you some more sale insight as to steps you might need to take.
Is there an email address we can contact?
Yeah, certainly. You can reach me at perry.frutiger@claytonhomes.com, or you could do frutigerp13@gmail.com is my personal email. You could certainly reach
Awesome.
me there as well.
You've been amazing, man.
Thank you for having me. I
No,
appreciate
this
it.
has been a lot of fun.
It's great. I'll come back anytime.
All right. Well, thank you. Hey, folks, that's the show. You know what I say to you every week? You had a lot of choices. You chose us. Thank you. Give us a positive review wherever you listen to this show. We really do appreciate it. I'll be back next week with another great guest. We're going to have another great show. As I say to you all over the world, you know what that is. Ciao.